Hey y'all, hey, it's Amber, bringing you part 2 of my Gary Oldman birthday video. Let's see how many Gary Oldman movies I own. So now, let's go over the DVDs that I own. Can I first point out that I didn't realize, or not realize, but I didn't think I was gonna have this many. But it also makes sense because, again, like I said earlier, he's in a lot of shit and I love it. A lot of times he's the best part of the movie, to be honest. He's one of those actors, now that I'm thinking about it, he just wants to do everything that is challenging to him. He doesn't care if the movie sounds like trash. If the character is good, he's gonna do it. And he's gonna do it flawlessly because he does every fucking time. So let's start with the movies I haven't seen. The Backwoods. Obviously, I got this at a Blockbuster that was closing because look how beat up it is. Oh, and it also has the Blockbuster thing right there. Either way, have no idea what it's about. He's another actor. I will buy everything. I don't care. That's how you know he's high up on my list. He's probably my top 3, to be honest, if not top 5 favorite actors. So, chew on that. No by mouth. Haven't seen it. Again, it's his debut as a director. Oh, and writer, so I was right. He did help write this. No idea what it's about. Super excited I found it. Can't wait to watch it whenever I do watch it. Maybe I'll watch it to celebrate his birthday. Dead Fish. I think I watched this, but I can't remember. So, oh, Billy Zane's in this. I love Billy Zane. So maybe I'll watch it again just to refresh myself because I don't remember what it's about. He looks like he's a hitman, so I'll go with that. This is not classified as a haven't watched, just a rewatch, I guess. And now looking at the ones in my hand, the last 2 are rewatches. So Mortal Beloved, where he plays Beethoven. I don't really remember it, but I know I've watched it, so I will definitely get to rewatch this at some point. And Chattahoochee. If I remember correctly, he's crazy in this. I don't remember what it's about, just that he's in prison and he's crazy. So I feel like this one I kept falling asleep in, so that's why I need to rewatch it. Alright, so on to the ones that I have seen that I own. Starting with the movie Meantime. This is actually the first movie that Tim Roth and Gary Oldman starred in together. If I remember, Gary's like a skinhead and his brother, I think it's his brother. If it's not his brother, Tim Roth plays like his next door neighbor, his best friend, and he's got some sort of mental issues. So Gary just pretty much like treats him like a doormat and has him do whatever he wants. This is also one that I bought from the Criterion collection that I'm kind of proud of. When I saw it, I'm like, oh my god, I need to buy this. Thought it was so cool. I like the artwork on it. I'm kind of excited to see what exactly is extra on this. So it's one of those, I think it was a TV movie, so it's very heavy on the acting. The acting fucking kills it, but the movie as a whole drags very, very heavily, but I liked it, which is why I bought it. But then again, it's Gary Oldman, so I'm gonna buy it. And Tim Roth. I love Tim Roth. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Obviously bought this for Black Friday because that's what that sticker means. I haven't watched this movie forever. I forgot Tom Hardy and Benedict Cumberbatch was in this. There's a shit ton of people in this. Holy fuck. I forgot about that. This movie drags too, but it's got A-list all over it. Everyone's performance in it is amazing, to be honest, so I highly recommend watching it. Sid and Nancy. Should be self-explanatory. Gary Oldman plays Sid Vicious. Does a great job at it. Funny thing about this movie, Nancy was supposed to be played, or not supposed to be played, but Courtney Love auditioned for it, and she got beat out by Chloe Webb. But she ends up in the movie as, I think, Chloe's best friend, so that's kind of funny. Like, a lot of these movies, I'm gonna be like, you should see it if you're a Gary Oldman fan, and you want to see range. Gary Oldman's your dude. Go watch everything he's in for any kind of acting range because he delivers every time. Romeo is Bleeding. Do not remember what this is about, but this is the other movie after I discovered him in JFK that popped up on TV that I would watch all the time because they'd be playing it all the time. And I just remember he just has really bad luck and there's like a love story. I don't know. I'll have to rewatch this just to remember how bad it is. I just know that he was really good in it. He looked cute in it, so. Air Force One. I feel like I saw this in theaters. Out of the ones that I've shown you so far, I think this was the first one of Gary Oldman's I saw in theaters. And he's just so good in it. This movie is great. Thriller. Harrison Ford plays the president. Obviously, Air Force One. Also, there was an interview once with Gary Oldman where he was arguing with Harrison Ford in this movie, And at one of the takes, he's like, I don't know what it was, but he was yelling at me and I messed up the take because I'm like, you're Indiana Jones. He completely dropped his accent and spoke regularly, and I thought that was hilarious and cute. It was just like, in that moment, he realized that Harrison Ford was Indiana Jones. Like, see, if I was an actor, I would probably be pulling that shit too. Like, not realizing who you're with and then just all of a sudden, like, starstruck. That would have been me all day, every day, if I was an actor. Dracula. Bram Stoker's, to be exact. Dracula. This, I think, is my mom's favorite Gary Oldman movie because she loves him too. He's great in this. It's heartbreaking. Winona Ryder's great in this. Keanu Reeves is still kind of in the whoa version of Keanu Reeves. So for me, this movie drags, but it is a classic. Francis Ford Coppola directed it, so it's definitely got some A-listers in it, like Anthony Hopkins is in it as Van Helsing, if I remember correctly. Oh, I didn't know. It won 3 Academy Awards. There's also an interview, I forgot which show that Gary Oldman was on, and they asked him if there was any movie that he thought he should have won an Oscar for before now that he has one, and he's like, Dracula. I'm like, I agree. That a professional, because his acting is just on another level. Definitely see that if you haven't seen it. It's, like I said, it's a cult classic. Speaking of cult classics, The Fifth Element. I feel like everyone and their mom has seen this movie and still doesn't know that that's Gary Oldman in it. I mean, he's on the cover. What the fuck? But yeah, he's the bad guy in this. He's got like a weird country accent, if I remember, but if you haven't seen this, definitely see it. Like I said, it's a cult classic. Everyone loves it. Chris Tucker's in it, and he's hilarious. It's like everyone upstages Bruce Willis in this. Like Mila Jovovich, Gary Oldman, Chris Tucker. Just, I don't know, it's just fun. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Real talk, I only have this because Robert Pattinson is in this. I don't have any other Harry Potter movies, but I mean, Gary Oldman's in this for a hot second, so it counts. The one he's normally known for is Prisoner of Azkaban, because he is the Prisoner of Azkaban. Either way, what rock do you live under if you haven't seen any Harry Potter movies? Even if you're that type that's like, ugh, Harry Potter. I'm like, yeah, there are wizards and there's dragons and there's magic and all that, but the underline of all of these movies is the love that you have for the people that you care about, and that love conquers all, pretty much. The end. And Gary Oldman plays Sirius Black, who is Harry Potter's godfather. Enough said. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. I always said his name wrong. So Richard Dreyfuss is in this, but it's Gary Oldman and Tim Roth's friendship throughout this entire movie that keeps it going, because this movie is dry as hell and long as hell, but the premise of it I think is ingenious because they play Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and these are two characters that may have had 2 lines in the Hamlet play, and this is just what happens between them while the rest of the Hamlet play is playing out somewhere else. Hopefully that makes sense. Either way, that's what this is pretty much. It's very theater, like watching a play type of vibe, so definitely think of that while going in if you do check it out, but I do highly recommend. It's hilarious. Murder in the Furs. Again, this is true story based off of the person that Kevin Bacon plays in it, how he's being abused at Alcatraz. Gary Oldman plays the warden of Alcatraz, and Christian Slater is Kevin Bacon's lawyer. The acting in this is amazing. This is another channel surfing one I found. I'm like, that's Gary Oldman, stops. Or it might have been even, hey, that's Kevin Bacon with a bunch of like scars on his face, stop. Like, all stop. Either way, definitely check it out. Great acting all around and a heartbreaking story. Nobody's baby. I mean, look at him. Tell me you wouldn't have been like, that guy looks familiar, but I don't know who it is. That was me for like the entire movie. This movie is so silly, but it's got a great heart to it, and he's amazing in it. And him and Skeet have great chemistry, so definitely check it out if you're able to. It's a hard one to find, but the Christopher Nolan Batman series, I only have the 2 because I'm still mad about the 3rd one. But Gary plays Commissioner Gordon in this. Him in this one, though, had me laughing when he was trying to drive the Batmobile and it, like, repositioned him to, like, a laying down. It's just his reaction to it was hilarious. And then, like, I don't really need to say anything about this movie because everyone and their mom knows how amazing this movie is, period. And Heath Ledger is a big part of that. But I think that was another thing that made the Christopher Nolan Batman series so good, is that the actors in it were so amazing at their craft, and it just, with his direction, just made it amazing. If you haven't checked out the 3, they're really good. So definitely check them out if you haven't. Leon, the Professional. Gary Oldman is a crazy, corrupt cop in this, and he's magnificent. I do not know how he was not nominated for anything because he's crazy. Gary Oldman is fucking terrifying. I highly recommend this movie. It's a cult classic. I definitely need to get a better version of this because there's so many different versions. There's probably even like a steelbook that's awesome with extra features. But yeah, this is definitely a movie I wouldn't mind having several copies of because that's how good it is. See it if you haven't seen it because it's amazing. And then last but not least, JFK. I think this was one of the first DVDs I ever bought myself, and for good reason. I have been obsessed with the JFK assassination since I was little, and it didn't help that this movie was made because it's got so many good actors in it that I love, like Kevin Bacon, Kevin Costner, Gary Oldman, Tommy Lee Jones, Joe Pesci. I even think Donald Sutherland might be in it. There's just too many to name, and the movie itself, even though it's long, is so informative and just so gripping. It's ridiculous. If you've never seen it, definitely watch it. Every time I meet someone and they haven't seen it, I always make them watch it because you just need to know its history. Even though I'm sure a lot of this was like written for dramatic reasons, but either way, it's a great movie. It's probably my favorite Oliver Stone movie too, to be honest, but this is how I found my boy Gary Oldman, and it's been a while since I watched it. I need to rewatch it because I know Patrick hasn't seen it, so it'll give me a reason to watch it. Well, that's it. Those are all the Gary Oldman movies I own. If you enjoyed taking a peek at my DVD collection, definitely let me know in the comments. I know I've been trying to make like a origin story of my DVD collection since last summer, I think. I just never got around to editing that footage, so maybe if enough people like this video, I'll finish it and put it out there. But yeah, definitely let me know by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, and as always, putting it down below. Because until next time, tell your mother.